Now, the annual Detroit Auto Show is underway this week. Ford kicked off the show just last night by unveiling its latest F-150 model with a brand new grille. But all of this comes as the United Auto Workers Union is approaching a potential strike. They have until tomorrow night to reach a deal with automakers. CBS News senior transportation correspondent, our friend and neighbor Kris Van Cleave, joins us from Detroit. And Kris, you spoke with the CEO of Ford just last night. How are the companies responding to the union's latest demands?
Well, Mr. Farley said they're working around the clock, that he has a team literally that is sleeping at the Ford headquarters right now as they are trying to get to a point where they can enter into a new deal with the United Auto Workers ahead of what is a 11:59 p.m. deadline tomorrow night. The clock is ticking. We have seen the automakers, even some of the ones that were slow to make an initial offer, continue to go back and forth with the auto workers. But the UAW has made it very clear that they are prepared to strike. And when you talk to people in the auto world, the expectation is that you will see a strike come Friday. It seems that the distance in some of the things that the auto workers are asking for versus what the automakers are offering is still pretty far apart. You know, the auto workers came in seeking a 40% or better raise, 32-hour work week, a return of pensions, and the basically unwinding of some of the concessions they made back during the Great Recession when the automakers were teetering on collapse. Of course, a lot has changed from then. We've seen huge profits from the big three over the last few years. So there's certainly money to go around, argue the auto workers. Car makers say a 32-hour work week is just not something they're going to get behind. So there's going to be space in this deal when they do come to it. But so far, the work continues to try to get to a deal.
And it's serious stuff. I'm wondering how much of a damper the threat of that strike puts on what should be an exciting week for all the manufacturers. You should be walking around honking horns and looking at new concept vehicles. So how much of a cloud is this putting over what should be fun for the rest of us?
You know, when they moved the North American Auto Show from the dead of winter here in Detroit to September, they had hoped that would up its profile, would up the energy, and would be something that you would bring people to Detroit. What it's certainly right now, what it's done is bring the focus of the looming auto strike. It is the elephant in the room. GMC debuted a new SUV today, and the very first questions they were asked during their media availability was about the strike, and it's the one thing that these folks don't want to talk about. What was notable about Farley from Ford coming out yesterday and actually facing reporters, none of the C-suite executives from Stellantis or from GM have made themselves available to talk about it. So, you know, they'd like to try to keep the focus on the fun here at the auto show, but it's impossible to ignore that a strike is looming and could radically change the conversation in less than 48 hours.
Yeah, that's very telling. Kris Van Cleave, we appreciate you. Take lots of pictures. Please share them. We all love cool cars. Thanks, Kris.